In this week's video fishing forecast for New England, we got an update on how COVID-19 is affecting the for-hire fishing industry in Massachusetts. We got the kickoff of the Coastal Kayak Clash fishing tournament on May 1st. Got the opener of Fluke season in several states and reports of trout, striped bass, blackfish, weakfish, and more. Check it out.
The fishing news is sponsored by these fine partners.
Hey there, Toby Lapinski for the New England edition of the Fisherman magazine with this week's web video fishing forecast for New England. We're going to start off this week with a little bit of a COVID-19 related update in regards to the for-hire fishing industry. In a memo dated April 27th, Massachusetts Governor Charles Baker announced the suspension of for-hire boating in the state. This includes for-hire fishing. Emergency order remains in effect during the duration of the Governor Baker's stay-at-home advisory and essential services order, which goes through May, at the end of May at this point. Statement goes on to say that this shall not restrict your ability to fish as a private recreational angler or in order to conduct commercial fishing activities for which you are permitted. This means that those of us private anglers may still go out, fish from shore, fish on our boat, so long as we confine the anglers on the boat to those who just reside in the same household. For-hire captains may still sail, obviously not taking clients with them. Commercial fishermen can continue to sail. It also went on to discuss boat ramps, announcing basically all inland and coastal boat ramps are open. A lot of general restrictions for social distancing, for parking and such. And of course, all of the details on this can be found right now in the news story posted at thefisherman.com. And of course, as this gets updated, lifted, or adjusted in the future, be sure to tune back in here every single Thursday, and I will be sure to update you as well as post updates on thefisherman.com in the meantime. All right, on a much more positive note, opportunity to get out and fish for you. This Friday, May 1st, we have the kickoff of the brand new subscriber-only kayak fishing tournament, the Fisherman magazine Coastal Kayak Clash. This is a season-long kayak-only multi-species fisherman tournament open to all subscribers of the Fisherman magazine, and it's going to crown the best all-around inshore saltwater kayak angler in the Northeast. Now, there's no additional fee to be able to participate. You just have to be a subscriber to the Fisherman magazine, whether print subscription, digital subscription, what have you. As long as you're a subscriber in good standing, go to thefisherman.com right now, check out the story on it, and within there you must register for the tournament. Very simple. Just acknowledge your understanding and acceptance of the general rules, put down an email address, and you are good to go to begin fishing this on May 1st, excuse me, I think it's Friday. Get on the kayak, get out there and fish. We've had some beautiful weather. I've been seeing some fish already being caught, so let's get on it. Let's see, we're going to now jump into the fishing reports. And we're going to start off up north this week with a video from a good friend, Tim Moore of Tim Moore Outdoors, as he continues to hunt for white perch on Lake Winnipesaukee.
Thanks, Toby. Well, as you can see, the white perch bite is good today on Lake Winnipesaukee. It was back in the live well. The salmon bite's been a little off. It's just been frustrating and not guiding, so I just haven't seen the point in getting out here and beat my head against the wall. It's short bite windows. The fish are all over the place. The water's still 40 degrees in the southern end of the lake, 45 up in some of these northern warmer bays. It's erratic. The weather's been crazy. It's been windy, cold at night, really cold at night. And fishing just hasn't been amazing, so I've been putting most of my time into chasing white perch around because they're fun and they taste good, and why not, right? If the bite's really good. They still haven't really moved in thick to their spawning grounds. They should be. As we get closer to that 50-degree water temperature up in here, they should get pretty thick, and the bite will be pretty fun. As for the salmon, it's just a waiting game, waiting for them to kind of establish a feeding pattern. They're not really in that super shallow water anymore. 12 to 15 feet seems to be the depth. Flies and mostly live bait, smelt, has been catching the majority of the fish. So it's going to keep banging it out. Like I said, I'm not guiding. Still decided not to not to try to guide right now. I just don't think it's a good idea, and so just kind of waiting it out and spending my days fishing and talking fishing and hanging out. So anyway, hope you enjoyed this. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you all on the next one.
Thanks a lot, Tim. Very cool. For those of you interested in this fishery, give a look to Tim's YouTube page, Tim Moore Outdoors. He's actually got a full video from that white perch fishing that he referenced in his little clip there, talking about how he used his side imaging to track down those schools of white perch that have been somewhat scattered across the lake, and he did really well putting together a very respectable catch, so give it a look right now. Moving into Massachusetts, talked with Massachusetts fisherman Peter Schoenberger last week. He pointed out the funny way in which he says I pronounced the word Massachusetts. I guess over the almost 30 years that I spent living in this state, I developed a bit of an accent or laziness, whatever you want to say, to the way that I speak, pronouncing the S in Massachusetts like a Z. Sorry for that. I'll see what I can do to prevent that and not upset any more of my fellow massholes out there. But nonetheless, Peter and I continued to talk, and he sent some nice photos. He was out fishing last week just after we had spoken the first time. Went out on his kayak up in Hadley, which is right in the area where I used to live. I grew up in Granby and moved to South Hadley. Used to fish that whole area, so I'm quite familiar with it. He ended up pulling a nice a nice trout, as well as some calicos to go on it for the day. Again, casting Rapala off of his kayak, so congratulations there, and I'll see what I can do about pronouncing Massachusetts correctly going forward for you. Also in the Bay State, out east, talked to my good buddy Captain Mel True. Sent me a photo of the first tog of the season, landed on board Fishnet Charters, of course, and we all saw this coming. It was landed by first mate Nate. Congrats on that first fish of the year. I'm sure there's going to be plenty more coming. Water temps in Buzzards Bay have been kind of chilly. I mean, we had some real good early spring weather. Temps were climbing, but they seem to have dropped back down. I checked just before I did the video, and it seems like they've been in that mid to upper 40-degree range at best most days. It's a nice sunny day here right now, but it's a little cool. The evenings have been a little chilly. We've had some breezes here in Connecticut, at least coming off of the ocean, cooling things down, but we got a little rain coming up. Hopefully after that we're going to break through and get into some more traditional or expected May weather. The water will hopefully warm up. And then, speaking of May, Fluke season starts to open up May 1st in Rhode Island, and then it follows in Connecticut and New York on May 4th. Massachusetts will join in on the fun a little bit later on, as they don't open their Fluke season until May 23rd. Now, generally, early season Fluke fishing is usually about deep water. I always hear, off of Montauk, Block Island, waters like that, deeper waters it seems to be. But, the more I talk to some of the guys to the south of us, Jersey, New York, they have early season fishing in the shallow waters, the back bays, salt ponds like we call them up here. So I also hear a little bit of rumblings here and there locally of some guys that do well shallow right off the bat. So if you are looking to get out with these season openers on Fluke, and you can't get out deep, it might not be a bad idea to hit some of those shallow water spots. And of course, let me know how you do. Hopefully you find a couple of nice doormats to start off the season. And then also of interest, I've been starting to hear a little bit of rumblings about weakfish. I mean, this is the time of the year when here in southern New England you start to hear of them. I know there's been some confirmed catches in New Jersey, south shore of Long Island. I was talking to a friend of mine earlier this week. He said he thought he had heard of one being caught inside the sound, but I was searching for confirmation, and as it turns out, got up this morning to shoot the video, hopped onto Instagram, got the confirmed catch, first confirmed catch somewhat locally. It was the North Fork of Long Island on Tuesday night, which is really just across the water from here where I'm shooting this video right now in Connecticut, but close enough I can see the spot. Talked to Jesse Gordon. He was out Tuesday night striper fishing, hitting the surf. He's been getting a lot of schoolies on the North Fork, Long Island area, and he happened in this really nice weakfish. And, like I said, I was just talking to a buddy of mine yesterday about this, and it makes sense that we'd have them starting to poke through here. It's the right time. We got the moon next week. And honestly, if some of you wanted to head out and fish this next little warm spell that we get, hit some of the usual spring weakfish spots, I wouldn't be surprised if you were able to pull a nice tide runner or two from there. And if you're looking for some tips, perhaps you never caught a weakfish, you want to hone your skills, and you want to find out what makes for a good spring weakfish spot and how to find some of your own, give a look to the May edition of the Fisherman magazine, which just came out, as Pat Vogt gives what he deemed a 102 course on finding spring weakfish. Now, we've seen it 100 times. Everybody's talked about what to throw. So a lot of times that's what is covered in weak fishing, what you're going to throw. And I know it's what I harp on all the time. But Pat really gets into dissecting the spots, looks into where he has found in his many years of hunting weakfish, general conditions, scenarios, locations that play into increased and improved weakfish success. So definitely give that article a look. I know editing it not too long ago, it really got me going, started thinking about it, and I've got a few spots that I might just try to get out and hit in the next week or two as we hit this moon. And then a couple days ago, I was also talking to Fisherman contributor and advertiser, Captain Mike Roy of Real Cast Charters. Mike had posted a couple pictures on his Facebook and his Instagram page that he had caught a couple of nice schoolie stripers himself while he was out fishing. So I just checked in on him, get a little bit of info on it, and eventually we got to the subject of some of the videos I noticed that he's been posting on his new YouTube page, Real Cast Charters. So as we were talking, Mike said over the next couple of weeks, he's going to be launching a whole bunch of videos. He's got a lot of downtime right now, so he's putting it to good use and shooting some videos. So he's going to cover electronics, trolling motors, and of course fishing subjects. So he's going to give us little clips, little teasers, what have you, to let us know what he is posting on his YouTube page. So let's see what Mike's got for you this week.
Thanks, Toby. You guys ever wonder if these trolling motors are really worth it? Well, right here I have a Minn Kota Ulterra trolling motor, and I'm doing a full review on my YouTube channel, Real Cast Charters. That's real spelt with two E's, pun intended. So jump on YouTube, check out this video, full review on the Minn Kota Ulterra. Thanks, Toby.
All right, thanks a lot, Mike. That should be a really good one, or is a good one. I checked it out, excuse me. Mike was actually the first guy who I ever fished with who had a trolling motor set up for the salt. And immediately, I mean, it took 2 minutes before I realized that this is something that we all can benefit from here in the Northeast. And I'm really happy to have been a part of spreading the word, at least, and bringing that to you, the anglers here in the Northeast saltwater. It's obvious our freshwater brethren have been using trolling motors forever, it seems like, and we just sort of picked up on it here in the Northeast. So give that video of Mike's a look. And before I move on, I'm going to hit the Western Sound and Long Island Sound in just a minute, but I want to start off, before I get there, by giving a big thank you to Rob Lee of the Westport Striped Bass Club. Rob and I have been talking a bit over the last couple of weeks, introduced to him by my buddy Ron Walczyk, who's a member of the Westport Striped Bass Club. Anyway, I made arrangements for magazines to be sent down to the club to hand out at their meetings. We've been going back and forth over fishing and different things, and Rob was nice enough to send myself and my son a club t-shirt. I wanted to wear it today. You will see it soon enough. It was just a little too chilly to be outside in the t-shirt alone, but I really do appreciate it. And give the club's website a look. It's westportstripedbassclub.com. Prior to the COVID-19 concerns, they were always having monthly meetings down there. Really, it looks like a really good club. Give them a check. And for those of you in the club, thank you very much for the shirts, and enjoy the magazines going forward. And finishing off, as I said, in Western Long Island Sound, the southwest corner of the state. Going into the weekend, Christian Oliva, sent me pictures of some schoolie striped bass that he and his buddies caught down around Norwalk on Friday. He said he and his buddies been doing really well on numbers of fish. There's been, as of that time, no keepers yet, primarily, all sorts, small schoolies, but lots and lots of action, really good time. Perfect for, he's using a 7-foot Tsunami rod, 3/8 ounce jig head, little Z-Man soft plastics, and just loading up on the schoolies and having a great time. An excellent way to be socially distancing while spending some time outside. So congrats on the catch, and thanks for the info. Of course, if anyone else has any information that you'd like to pass along, photos, videos, reports, what have you, be sure to shoot me an email at Lapinski@thefisherman.com, and I will be sure to include you in an upcoming video. All right, well, there you have it. I'm Toby Lapinski for the New England edition of the Fisherman magazine, wishing you tight lines if you head out onto the water this weekend.